So when Anthony came in this morning, he had everything turned on automatic. So that's why it's so cold here. It's not Anthony's problem. It's our problem here. So I have a few announcements for you before we begin our service. Okay?
I think it's off, Carl.
Then I can adjust it as necessary.
It's still
Can
off.
you hear me in the back? I didn't have it on. Okay? Now, how is it doing now? No, I need more volume? Pardon? You can't hear me in the back. All right. Good morning. I have a few announcements for you before we begin our service. A warm welcome to everyone this morning, to those of you here in person, and to those watching on YouTube. Everyone is welcome here, whatever your heritage, your age, your income, your abilities, and whatever your religious beliefs, and however you choose to participate, in person or on YouTube. As a welcoming congregation, we affirm the full inclusion of people of all sexual orientations and gender identities. A special welcome to any visitors with us this morning. If you'd like to get connected and learn more about our community life, please take a moment to fill out a yellow pew card located on the back of the seat in front of you, or sign the guest book in the vestibule. We hope you will join us for refreshments downstairs in our social hall following the service, so we have a chance to connect in person. To reach the social hall, we exit through this door behind me and go down the stairs. Just follow everyone. Our Christmas service will be on Christmas Eve, on Wednesday evening, December 24th at 5 p.m. This is not the same time we had last year, but it's returning to a time that has been traditional here, 5 p.m. We hope many of you and your friends and family can join us. Today at 3:30, the Meeting House Foundation will be offering the silent film version of Peter Pan, with Peter Krasinski playing the organ. If you've been to any of his Halloween silent film offerings over the years, you know that this is a special event. Again, it's at 3:30 today. Also, the Meeting House Foundation is presenting the Cape Ann Big Band on Friday evening, January 2nd. So that's a week away, right here at 7:30 p.m. This will be a fun evening. Tell your family and friends. Our Friday drop-in lunch gathering will not be meeting the next 2 weeks. We hope to see you when we resume in January 9th. Our church podcast, Siding with Love, now has 3 episodes to listen to. Please give it a try. You'll find the link on the church website, I think, yes. And suggest it to your friends and family. It's very, very professionally done. Our next book discussion will take place on January 13th. So correct me, Peter, if anything I say here is wrong. We've chosen The Director, a historical novel about the moral compromises a German film director had to make to keep working under the Nazi regime. There's more information in our Friday email, but plan on joining us for a lively discussion. And now, before we begin, if the folks watching from home would like to light a candle or chalice along with us during our chalice ceremony, please go and get one now so that we can do this ritual together in spirit. Thank you. Oh, a little extra?
Yeah, one little extra thing. In your order of service is O Sun Wheel Bright, and I have taken the folk out of most of the copies, but if yours still has it, we've eliminated the word folk because of the way it scans. And being good pagans, it also means that we are including trees, rocks, amoeba, asparagus, and so forth and so on in the all, and not including, not excluding folk, but including everything.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Dulcie. Thank you, Steve. The Lacey family continues to grace us with their music. We're fortunate to have you this morning. So, I have a big announcement to make. And that is that 7 minutes ago, the winter solstice happened. It was at 10:03 this morning, and we will be talking about that a little bit today, but just wanted to take a moment to celebrate and to say congratulations, you made it. And even though it is now officially winter, let's put that aside for a second, the days will be obviously getting in tiny bit longer every day. So congratulations. Couple of quick things. One is that I'm trying to arrange to have our service, Christmas Eve service live streamed this year, and I haven't gotten confirmation of that, so I couldn't make a formal announcement, but just to give folks watching from home a heads up that that's the plan. So tune in if we'll put it on our Facebook page to let people know for sure. Also, a week from today, next Sunday, the service will be downstairs in the social hall. We'll be having one of our brunch church services. So the downside with doing that, as fun as it is and warm and convivial, the downside is that we don't live stream it. So apologies to folks watching from home. But we will be here in person downstairs in the social hall. And then the other thing I wanted to mention before we get started is that we have a few folks who are not going to be able to be home for the holidays and are going to need to hear from us. I've got some folks in rehab and or needing to isolate to keep away from germs. And so I have some Christmas cards that I'll have at coffee hour. And I'd really appreciate it if people can sign the cards and we can let folks know how much we are thinking of them right now. And I could also use a volunteer to help manage the cards, because I'll be kind of coming and going in coffee hour this morning. Anyway, we can talk about that later, but just to let you know that will be happening. And I'd appreciate everybody signing. And with that, let us deepen our hearts and our spirits for worship. Let there be a season when holiness is heard and the splendor of living is revealed. Stunned to stillness by beauty, we remember who we are and why we are here. There are inexplicable mysteries. We are not alone. In the universe, there moves a wild one whose gestures alter Earth's axis toward love. In the immense darkness, everything spins with joy. The cosmos enfolds us. We are caught in a web of stars, cradled in a swaying embrace, rocked by the holy night. Babes of the universe. Let this be the time we wake to life, like spring wakes in the moment of winter solstice. Come, let us worship together. Our opening hymn this morning is O Sun Wheel Bright, to the tune of the Sussex Carol. Holly and Jim and Donna are going to be our song leaders to help us feel confident in singing this. In case you don't know it, the words are found on an insert in your order of service. You're welcome to rise in body or in spirit. Thank you. That was great. In the Unitarian Universalist faith tradition, we enter into worship by the simple ritual of kindling our chalice to add a little more light into the world. May this small flame remind us of the light that is always present in the world, even when we're not seeing it. As Carl lights our chalice, if you have a candle or a chalice prepared at home, please join us in spirit and light it with us now. we take a moment now to affirm the covenant that we share with one another. Newcomers and guests, the words of our affirmation are printed in your order of service if you'd like to read along with us. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. As always, as part of our services, we light a candle each week to express our hopes for growing peace in the world. This past week was one of great violence, but we continue to add our small light to all of those working for peace, working to drive away suffering. The season of Advent is the period of 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas. It's also the time here in the Northern Hemisphere when, as we know, the days are shortest, when the cold really settles in, and when people need the cheer that is brought by the promise of warmth and light. As we light one more candle each Sunday, this Advent wreath symbolizes our waiting experience. Week by week, the candles remind us that fear and hopelessness recede as more warmth enters the world. The flame of each new candle reminds us that more light and love is yet to come. Today is the 4th Sunday of Advent, so today we will light all 4 candles. First, the candle representing hope, then the candle representing peace, the pink candle of joy, and finally, today's candle, the candle of love. Hope, peace, joy, and love. Thank you, Carl. I meant to say earlier that today is a perfect example of why we say happy holidays at this time of year, as we are simultaneously today honoring Advent, the solstice, and Hanukkah. But now let us join our hearts and spirits together in a time of prayer, to be followed by silent meditation. Spirit of life, God, whom we know as love, we pause in gratitude this morning as we have reached the end of our darkest time. Even as we pause now in the stillness, the earth is also pausing briefly in its orbit. We sense the anticipation of new directions, bright light, and a turn toward new life. We look to the east, hoping to discern your presence. We seek the arrival of new hope. We long for joy, for love to appear in our midst, reborn, ever new, shining brightly as a star to light our way. As the chill of winter descends, we brace ourselves and prepare for continuing challenges ahead. We hold in our hearts the victims of all the recent violence, both here in the U.S. and in other countries. In this time of turning and new hope, may the world turn its back on war and on the taking of innocent life, and look toward compassion and wisdom, turning again toward the light. Spirit of love, we also offer our prayers for all those here in our own community who are coping with illness and injuries this morning. We ask that they and we all may feel warmed by hope, held by faith, and sustained and embraced by love. Blessed be. Amen.
I invite us now to join in responsive reading 653, which you'll find in the back of the bulletin. It's entitled Reflections on the Resurgence of Joy. Please read the italicized paragraph. How short the daylight hours have now become. How gray the skies, how barren seem the trees. But there is that in me which reaches up toward light and laughter, bells and carolers, and knows that my religious myth and dreams of reborn joy and goodness must be true, because it speaks the truths of older myths, that light returns to balanced darkness, life surges in the evergreen and in us. And babes are hope, and saviors of the world, as miracles abound in common things. Rejoice and join in the gladness of Christmas.
These are challenging times we live in. It's hard to know what the future holds. During times such as these, when it can be hard to know what we can depend on, we need our community of faith more than ever. This community offers us a place to grow and to sustain ourselves. In turn, we sustain the community through our financial contributions. Together, we make possible connection, commitment, and hope for the future. And so now, to support this community of caring and all of its work in the world, this morning's offering will now be gratefully received. Blessings upon the givers and upon your gifts.
Our reading today, our reading today is Testified to the Light by Jan Richardson. Author and poet Jan Richardson wrote of her grief after the death of her husband Gary and what light means to her. She wrote, "In Belfast, there is a woman who lights candles for Gary and me. She has a gift for finding thin places, an 11th century stone sanctuary, a whitewashed church in the mountains of Wales, a chapel crypt on the Yorkshire moors that holds the bones of a Welsh saint. In such places, on an altar or in the chink of a wall, Jenny lights a candle, and she prays, not merely in memory of what was, but in hope and in blessing for love that endures and life that persists on both sides of the veil. Here on my broken-hearted side of the veil, the light comes as solace and unexpected grace. In this dark time, when there is no one who can walk this road for me or lessen what has been lost with Gary's death, the light comes as a vivid reminder that we have, at the least, the power to help illuminate the path for each other. It matters that we hold the light for one another. It matters that we bear witness to the light that holds us all, and that we testify to this light that shines its infinite love and mercy on us across oceans, across borders, across time. Who holds the light for you? In this season, who might need you to hold the light for them in acts of love and grace? Blessed are you who bear the light. Blessed are you who bear the light in unbearable times, who testify to its endurance amid the unendurable, who bear witness to its persistence when everything seems in shadow and grief. Blessed are you in whom the light lives, in whom the brightness blazes, your heart a chapel, an altar where in the deepest night can be seen the fire that shines forth in you, in unaccountable faith, in stubborn hope, in love that illuminates every broken thing it finds. Here ends our reading.
The Gospel of John tells us, "The light was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it." The year was 1993, over 30 years ago now. That year, Billings, Montana had found itself suddenly targeted by white supremacists. These people, skinheads as they were called back then, were harassing people of color and Jews, spreading hate literature. They vandalized a Jewish cemetery. And incidents were becoming increasingly common and more brazen. Eventually, there was a bomb threat at the local synagogue. And then one night, December 2nd, 1993, to be exact, a chunk of cinder block was thrown through a Jewish family's window. A 6-year-old boy named Isaac Schnitzer had a Hanukkah menorah in his window, and someone threw this concrete through it. It landed on his bed. Luckily, it was early, and Isaac was not in his room. Now, until that point, officials in Billings had been denying that there was any real problem in their city and had been avoiding any meaningful responses. But this violent act that could have killed a small child proved to be the catalyst that the city of Billings needed to stand up and resist hatred. Initially, the boy's mother, Tammy Schnitzer, was told by local authorities that it would be safer if they removed any Jewish symbols from her home. In other words, to hide the religious identity. But how, she asked in a New York Times interview, do you explain that to a child? Enter Margaret MacDonald, who called herself just a church lady, who approached the minister of her United Church of Christ congregation. Church members began to respond by buying menorahs to place in their windows, and the impulse began to spread. The Billings Gazette published a full-page drawing of a menorah for people to cut out and display in their windows. Estimates of the number of participants varied, of course, but they ranged from roughly 3,000 to around 10,000 people displaying menorahs. A few days after the rock throwing, around 150 people came together outside of a synagogue during Shabbat services for a vigil to hold candles and offer their support, because the light shines in the darkness. If only this were the end of the story. But the darkness in Billings has been impossible to completely overcome so far. Isolated vandalism continued throughout the holiday season that year, attempts to intimidate people into taking down their menorahs. The worst thing for many citizens, for many people, was the knowledge that there were fellow citizens among them, neighbors and co-workers, who were hiding their participation in these hate crimes. And so it is to this day. There continue to be incidents of vandalism and hate speech in Billings. Deep-seated prejudices continue to exist, as they do in so many communities. But the community continues to show up, to resist the hatred, and to offer a light against the darkness. I was reminded of this story last weekend after the shooting in Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, during a community menorah lighting. Once again, hatred was aimed at Jewish people, as it has been for centuries. Once again, we felt our hearts break. One of the victims was a 10-year-old girl. Her family had emigrated from Ukraine to Australia, and she was the first family member to have been born in Australia. She was their first native Australian. And so they had named her Matilda. I was struck in reading accounts of the aftermath of the shooting and the funerals that took place, that how common some of the themes were that were offered at the funerals. The rabbi who officiated at Matilda's funeral had also had to lead the service for his own son-in-law, who had also been killed. He said, "You give me strength at a time when you need strength yourselves, and I try to do the same," he told Matilda's parents. On the same day, services were also held for the oldest victim, a Holocaust survivor named Alexander Kleitman. In a statement, his family wrote, "The two gunmen killed him, but his memories, his legacy, and his books will bring light for generations to come." I heard in these words the emphasis, repeatedly, of giving one another strength and of bringing light. And perhaps that is what we are called to do on the hardest days humans can ever face, to offer our strength and to bear light for one another. In the wake of the shooting and the shooting at Brown University, I knew that the best response was to show my own solidarity in public, to try to bring some light. Our local synagogue, Temple Ahavat Ahim, was holding its annual lobster trap menorah lighting this past Tuesday evening, and I arranged my schedule to make sure that I could be there. It would have been understandable for the synagogue to cancel their event in an abundance of caution, that phrase that we hear so often these days. But the event went on as planned, and the community showed up to offer our support and to share in the celebration. It was fun and joyful. The lighthearted claims of this being the only lobster trap menorah in not just the planet, but the galaxy, tried to prove them wrong on that claim. And there was singing and jelly donuts and little dreidels to take home and joy. And there was nothing furtive or cautious, just a community joining together to offer their own light on a cold, dark evening. Those of us present accepted the gift of that light and added to it with our own, offering ours back so that the darkness could not overcome it. The story of Hanukkah is an inspirational one, And for anyone who might not know the story, in the 2nd century BCE, the ancient Jews had overthrown their Greek oppressors and had reclaimed their temple. But there was only enough oil to light the temple's lamp for one night, or so it seemed. And yet somehow that oil lamp burned for 8 nights until more oil could be obtained and brought to the temple. Down through the years, this miracle of light has come to represent resilience and perseverance for a people who continue to suffer oppression and violence. On a Hanukkah menorah, also known as a Hanukkiah, there are holders for 9 candles. 8 of the candles, of course, represent the 8 nights that tiny amount of oil burned in the temple. And there is always one other, a 9th candle, called the shamash. This is the helper candle, the candle that is lit first, so that all the other candles can be lit from it. Sometimes it's located in the center, sometimes off to a side. It's often raised up a little bit from the others, held a little bit separate. In the wake of all the violence last week, I have been thinking about menorahs and the symbolism of the shamash, the helper, always present, standing alone. The shamash serves as a reminder to us of how the light is held, how the light is spread. And it is a reminder that we can each be a shamash. The author of our reading, Jan Richardson, mentioned the power that we each have to provide even just a tiny light for one another, enough to see the path ahead, to keep walking through sorrow, through depression, through moonless nights and dark nights of the soul. Recently, I participated in my minister's study group where we tackled some issues in moral philosophy. The question we kept coming back to, that we kept asking each other was, what do we owe each other? Being the light for each other, illuminating a way forward for one another, acting as a shamash is one very clear answer to that question. Jan Richardson goes on to ask, who holds the light for you? And who is relying on you to hold the light for them? These are hard days that we are confronting, and we need each other to help us stay on the path forward. So much of all that we have tried to build up over the course of our lives is being torn down. Our norms are being eroded, the rule of law and civil discourse. There are many people who would gleefully take away voting rights, gender-affirming care, health insurance, and legal protection for immigrants, even those who are here lawfully. We work to stay informed and involved, but it can seem overwhelming day after chaotic day. How do we stay focused? How do we respond to the deliberate chaos swirling around us? What do we owe each other in these times? Perhaps the way through for us is to picture a candle standing alone in the darkness and how much light it actually provides. Or picture the sun rising imperceptibly higher in the sky, offering its light for just a few seconds longer each day until we begin to notice that the days are getting longer once again. And if we can hold those images in our hearts and in our minds, we can sense that our own light offers a way forward for others, even if we think it's hardly visible. We have power. And it's an act of faith, really, to remember those ancient words that the light shone in the darkness and the darkness did not overcome it. Have faith in the power of light and carry that power with you and within you. Blessed are you who bear the light in unbearable times, who bear witness to its persistence when everything seems in shadow and grief. Blessed are you in whom the light lives, in whom the brightness blazes. Blessed are you indeed. Amen. I invite us now to say together the unison prayer that is printed in your order of service. Spirit of life and love, that which loves through all beings, entwining together the whole and holy universe, teach us to give love. Help us to bring our full hearts to community, to find and to give love immeasurable with a generous spirit and a joyous heart. Help us to be ever blessed with the knowledge that all matter is connected, that we are a part of the whole. Teach us to know that we are never alone, for the whole of creation moves in and through us in every moment of our lives. So may we return this immense love in the compassion, generosity, and justice that we offer to the world, in the true belief that someday this world can become a beloved community that holds us all in care. We say, Amen. May the love of this season be with you through all the days of the year and give you strength and courage and faith. May the peace of this season be ever in you and bring you comfort and hope. May the light of this season shine in your heart and bring you happiness and laughter. And may the joy that is in you be shared with others. May it always be so. Amen. And now I invite those of you at home to hold up your candle or chalice, and together we will blow them out as we here say the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. May you go in peace and return in love. Amen.